Hey guys, what is up? Niyat here with Film and Comics Explained, and today we'll be taking a look at the Darkspawn, which were featured in the awesome Dragon Age game series developed by BioWare and published by Electronic Arts. The Darkspawn were essentially a race of soulless humanoid creatures that dwelt in the underground systems of Thetis, which is the fictional continent the games were set in. They were described as being pale creatures with a strange darkness that would bleed out of their eyes and mouth as a result of the black ichor of the old gods. The Darkspawn did not require sustenance and was sustained by the taint, which could also provide them with the ability to quickly heal. This is how the massive ogres were able to regenerate to full health in a matter of minutes, and also how some Darkspawn were able to recreate body parts that had been lost over time. The creatures also had great vision in the dark, which would deteriorate and become impaired by sunlight, the precise reason why they decided to take up residence in the cave systems of Thetis. In the games, it's explained that the Darkspawn were created when the Magister's Sidereal of the Tevinter Imperium, which were 7 ancient high priests, had opened a portal into the Golden City, which began tainting the realm of the Maker with their corruption, and was responsible for bringing about the first blight, which transformed them into monsters. As mentioned just before, the Darkspawn were infected by the Taint, which is a corruption that makes the victims hear the call of the old gods, which were powerful sleeping beings resembling dragons that were thought to have been the ones who first taught mages how to use magic. Once they had found the old gods, they would then infect them with the Taint, corrupting them and changing them into archdemons, which would then lead the attack on the surface world. With their increased numbers, the first Darkspawn dug deeper underground until they had found the resting place of the old god Dumat, the Dragon of Silence, who had been imprisoned by the Maker for usurping his worshippers. Freed from his prison and warped by the taint the Darkspawn bore, Dumat became the first of the archdemons and led the Darkspawn to lay waste to the world in what would become known as the First Blight. Over the centuries, 4 more blights would occur. Each time the blight would be stopped with heavy losses on both sides, often leading to the destruction of entire cities and kingdoms, before the nations of Thetis could repel them with the help of the Grey Wardens. Now, newborn Darkspawns would inevitably fight amongst themselves, which served the function of weeding out the weaker ones in the group. On occasion, a Darkspawn is so powerful that they end up killing their entire brood, giving them the title of Alpha. These alphas were generally taller, stronger, and much more intelligent than the rest of their kind, which allowed them to serve as commanders and generals of the Darkspawn. Even with this tremendous power, they did not have the ability to command entire hordes during a blight, as that role was reserved for the archdemons. Though the Darkspawn could barely be considered sapient and didn't seem to possess any measure of intelligence beyond their ingrained instinct, they were all connected through the taint, which functioned as a hive mind on their behalf. It's because of this that they had very little that resembled any semblance of recognizable culture, with no homes and no names. With the exception of the disciples, they would live in a Darkspawn nest, which was an underground chamber littered with organic strands and sacks of corrupted flesh. Given all of this, the hive mind was still able to guide them into making rudimentary armor and weaponry to aid them in their conquest. The Darkspawn existed for one purpose and one purpose only, which was to wage war against all sentient beings of Thetis, and as a rule, they would engage in hostility with any outsiders. Anyone caught venturing underground would be taken down, just as anything caught in their path during a raid or blight would be mercilessly slaughtered. Those who were unfortunate enough to come into contact with the Darkspawn would eventually contract the blight infection, causing them to perish outright or to turn into ghouls over time. Once the taint had dominated their very essence, the Darkspawn would then recognize them as their own by welcoming them into the Horde. The Darkspawn's large numbers, terrifying transformations, bloodthirst, and willingness to indiscriminately kill or corrupt all that came in their way made them the single greatest threat to all of Thetis. Well, that's all for today, folks. Thanks to all of you guys who requested we take a look at the Darkspawn featured in the incredible Dragon Age series. If you haven't played the games, I've left a link to where you can purchase them below. And if there's any other content you would like me to check out, please don't hesitate to ask. As always, it's been a pleasure. Niyat here with Film Comics Explained. Thanks for stopping by.